The big question people ask me is, well, are you going to leave Dayton? And the answer is no, we're going to stay here. So I'm just moving from the podium to the audience, and I will be an interested audience member, maybe more interested than most other audience members. But it's just a shift in where I am in the building.
Recently retired music director and conductor of the Dayton Philharmonic, Neal Gittleman, on this edition of Arts Focus. I'm Larry Carrussell. Did you ever imagine at the beginning that you would stick around this or any one orchestra for 30 seasons?
No. I mean, I thought, maybe 5 or 6 years and then hopefully, move up to a bigger orchestra, something like that. And Lisa, my wife, when people said, it's so wonderful you've stayed here, and Lisa, nobody else wants him. But that's good because having a wife who's continually deflating your ego a little bit is useful. There's a story, it's actually in my sort of farewell message to the audience in the last program book. I tell a story which I heard about Pierre Monteux. Pierre Monteux was my grand teacher, in effect. He was my teacher's teacher. Monteux conducted the Concertgebouw Orchestra in Amsterdam for about 10 years, I think like from mid to late 20s to mid to late 30s. Charles Brook, my teacher, who was Monteux's assistant at the time, tells the story that Monteux came home from a rehearsal with the orchestra one day and said to his wife, Doris, he said, "Darling, I've been here 10 years, we're leaving." And Doris Monteux said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Nothing. That's why we're leaving." That stuck with me as a sort of, don't overstay your welcome. So, I was thinking maybe in that 5 to 10 year range. But a couple of things happened. The Schuster Center happened in, I think, my 8th year with the orchestra. And everything was different. The orchestra made this giant leap in terms of its playing because we had a great place to play in and we rehearsed in the hall all the time, so we learned how to make the hall work for us. And then I think it was like around my 18th year was when we started the conversations that led to the merger into the DPA, which again changed everything. So I really had what amounted to sort of 3 Monteux-style decades with the orchestra. The first one, and then the Schuster Center era, and then the DPA era. And I like to think that each of those things sort of helped reset things. And because the whole point is, how do you keep things fresh? You really have to work to keep the relationship fresh. And musicians in an orchestra are always going to be a little bit annoyed with the conductor because, you've got 75 or 80 people there who know how to play the music and know their business. And there's one person standing up on a box telling them what to do. And psychologically, that's a very challenging situation for everyone. As the person giving the orders, you have to figure out a way. So as Charles Brook used to say, though I think he spun it differently, he said, he made that same point, and he said, so your job is to get the musicians to play the music the way you want to play it and have them think they're playing it the way they want to play it. I interpreted that as come up with a way that they're playing the music the way you want it to go, but they feel that it's their way and have bought into it. Not that you're imposing your will on them, but you're bringing them along so that we agree on how the music should go, regardless of where we started when we came in. But I think for the most part, the relationship we have had over these years has been a really good one. And when nothing is wrong, that's the time to go. And people say, "Oh, so you're winding down?" And I say, "No, I am not winding down. I'm doing this job at 100 miles an hour until the last concert, and I'm going to wake up the next morning and I won't be doing it at 100 miles an hour anymore. I'm going full speed, and then when I'm done, I'll be done."
Recently retired music director and conductor of the Dayton Philharmonic, Neal Gittleman. I'm Larry Carrussell. Arts Focus is a production of Discover Classical.